Hey guys, Alish here from gainmedialab.com. Welcome to my exciting world of live audio mixing. Today's burning question: could you survive with just one, yes, just one reverb for your live audio mix? Let's make one thing clear. When I have time, making sure that I have the right reverbs and the right delays at my disposal and tuned exactly the way I want them to support the musical content is my number one priority. But sometimes we are short on time, and in my guerrilla mixing class, I teach just that, how to make sure that your mixes sound well, exceptionally even if you don't have the time to make sure that all of your settings are dialed in properly. So in that case, when time is of the essence, I suggest you use just one reverb. But you might say using just one reverb cannot possibly cover all of the musical content that comes your way. You know, fast tempo songs, ballads, they have completely different settings and usually completely different reverbs and delay settings. Well, that might be true, but consider the advantages of using just one effect in your mix. First of all, there's just one thing to set up. So one send, one return, and one reverb at your disposal cuts time that you need to set up the console significantly. So it will probably save you a couple of minutes if you just use one reverb instead of using a lot of them or a lot of different effects in your mix. Second of all, using just one reverb means that all of the sounds in your mix will be coming from the same virtual space. So the reverb will act as sort of a glue, bringing all of the channels together and making your mix sound more compact. Third of all, if you're using just one reverb for your mix, you can treat the EQ for the return channel of that reverb as sort of another EQ for your entire mix. Well, think about it. If you want to EQ your entire mix to make it sound a bit darker or a bit brighter depending on the music content, you can do that on the reverb return channel. It just gives you another set of tools that you can use while mixing. And another set of tools is always a good thing. The next question arises: what type of reverb do you use in such situations? We have rooms and halls and cathedral settings and plates and whatnot. So in my personal opinion, and that is just that, personal opinion, because using effects is a very, very personal and subjective matter. So I do encourage you to experiment, but I usually go for a plate reverb. It gives me a lot of density of the reverb in the earlier reflection stages and that nice tail that I can sort of control throughout the entire mix. So I would usually set the reverb type as a plate, and then I would dig into at least two parameters that I need to set up. And the first one is the pre-delay. The second one is the decay time or the reverb length. Now, the pre-delay setting is basically something that allows me to separate the reverb from the initial signal. And that is a great thing to have, because when you have a lot of channels coming to one reverb mix, they tend to muddy each other up because you have a lot of channels and they tend to be a little off when it comes to time alignment. And then when you add the reverb to that, it just becomes mushy and not really transparent. So I tend to use pre-delay as sort of a separator between the initial delay of the reverb and the signal itself, so I get more attack and more transparency in my mix. So I would never set the pre-delay when I'm using just one reverb to 0, but I would start between 20 and 30 milliseconds, and I encourage you to try that for yourself as well. Now, the decay time for let's say a standard setup or a mid-range setup that will cover most of your music material, I find it to be really nice sounding between 1 second and 1.15, but you can go up and down depending on the tempo of the song and the musical content that you're working with. Now, these two settings get assigned to user-defined encoders on my digital console. Just about every digital console out there will have that possibility, and it's really, really great to have those two settings at your disposal, the pre-delay time and the reverb length or the decay time. Slower tempo songs like ballads, I would raise the pre-delay time and raise the decay time. So the pre-delay gets raised to about 80, 90, sometimes even 100 milliseconds, really separating that reverb from the initial signal and sort of treating it as a delay unit as well. Try it out. You will see that it sort of adds this another dimension of space. Plus, if you combine it with the length of the reverb being set now to maybe 2 seconds, 2.5, sometimes 3 if it's a really, really luscious, slow ballad song with not a lot of instruments, that will give you a lot of space and a lot of that, sonic deliciousness. I would like to hear about your personal preferences when setting up just one reverb, so please leave them in the comments below. And I'll give you a link to a chart that I will have for maybe mid-tempo songs and ballad settings for such a reverb and stuff like that. And if you'd like to read about this in more depth, please visit gainmedialab.com, where you will find this blog, other articles, and some other stuff concerning audio. That's it for now. Like, subscribe, take care of yourselves, mix great shows, and I'll see you next time. Bye!